Every single season has its high points and its low points. I get it. But right now it is cold and muddy and I have to do barn chores. And I really cannot help but daydream about what life is going to look like and sound like again in just a few months. And I cannot be the only one wishing it was summer. But at the very same time, I am so ready to turn in at 5 p.m. when the sun disappears and just hibernate. This year has absolutely tried me. The newness of embarking on this journey, like living in an RV on my in-laws' property, starting to dip our feet into homesteading on their property, buying our own land, saving up money. Like, the newness of all of that has really worn off after a year, and we are realizing that we do not have as much stamina as we thought we did, which is why I am so grateful for this winter season to have some time to rest and reflect on what we could have done better. That way we don't feel so ragged this time next year. Living in an RV has been interesting. We're hoping not to be living in an RV for a whole lot longer, and I'll get into that later, but everything broke in our RV this year. We had to replace our AC unit, water pump, inverter, refrigerator. That ended up working out because I absolutely was going crazy with the small RV fridge. But our gray water tank cracked and destroyed all of our insulation under our RV. And our hot water heater randomly does not work, but we haven't replaced that yet because, you know, we're just so tired of putting money into this RV. The moral of the story is RVs were meant to go on weekend trips and vacation, and they were not meant to be lived in. And that's not to say that you can't live in one, because obviously we live in one, but it's just not like how it's portrayed on social media most of the time. And I could see that living in an RV would be a lot better if you lived in like a newer RV or one that, you know, wasn't constantly breaking, but that's just not our reality right now. We were prepared to sacrifice a lot of the comforts of having a house, like insulation and septic and plumbing and space, but we were not prepared for the mental toll of constantly repairing things in the RV while trying to save money. So hopefully now that we have replaced all these things, this year will run a lot more smoothly. When we first started living on my in-laws' property last fall, we started constructing a 12 by 16 foot sewing studio so that I can jump back into my dressmaking business. This was such a fun project because we were able to finally put into action a lot of the things that we were learning on YouTube, like framing walls and installing windows and roofing and stuff like that. It was just really fun to finally do something together after dreaming about it for a couple years. And are the cosmetic finishes in my studio finished? No, but it's just not the priority right now, so that's totally okay. After the sewing studio was built, my in-laws gave us the green light to utilize their 7 acres and start dabbling in homesteading. We bought an awesome handmade brooder from an old man in Kentucky and started brooding 20 ducklings and 4 geese in my studio, and eventually got more ducklings. Now, this was so much fun. Waterfowl are extremely messy because they get water everywhere, but I was having the time of my life watching them grow, and I guess I'm not gonna lie and say I enjoyed cleaning up after them. But I did enjoy naming them. To my dismay, though, a lot of them ended up looking like each other, so we ended up with 10 Marylands, 9 Opals, a Geraldine, Dorothy, Shirley, Chester, Otis, and Mr. Quackers. And I'm sure you can guess which one Steve named. And then we have the 4 geese, Barbara, Rosemary, Louise, and Hazel. And as they were growing in the brooder, we started building an 8-foot by 16-foot lean-to style coop for them. And I wanted to make it super secure and also, kind of look like a cute little cottage with shutters and all that good stuff. And it turned out so cute. We bought wood stain and paint a while back, but I just haven't found the time to finish. Well, scratch that. I have found the time. I haven't found the motivation to finish it yet, which has actually worked out for us because we're planning on doubling our laying flock this year. So we'll have to add on to the coop. So I guess it's a good thing I didn't finish it all yet. But anyways, our girls are full grown now, and we're getting about 20 to 21 duck eggs a day and 1 to 2 goose eggs a day. And we are selling them at 2 local grocery stores, and every week they sell out. Every week, customers are telling us that they love them, they're amazing, and all this stuff, and it is so much fun. So we are super, super excited and very proud that they are constantly selling out. That is a huge accomplishment. Around the same time that we started the coop project, we also started an 8-foot by 8-foot greenhouse project. That way we can start some seeds and get a garden going. This was an absolute must for us because we didn't have any space in the RV to start seeds, and my work was picking up. So as soon as the brooder was out of my studio, I was so ready to stop sharing that space and spread my work stuff out. The greenhouse project was maybe my favorite because we got it done really, really quickly, and we actually finished all the cosmetic work on it. So it's actually like a whole finished project. I was so excited to finally start seeds for the first time after years of watching other gardeners do it on Instagram. And I was maybe a little bit too eager, and I started way too many seeds, like over 200 tomatoes. But I have no regrets. Was my garden overcrowded with plants? Yes, but every single seedling that popped up from my trays gave me immense joy, and I'm gonna do it again this year, like shamelessly. I do not even care that I'm gonna be stressed about the jungle in August. I will deal with it when the issue arises, This is really, really pretty. We researched and heard that ducks are really, really great in the garden because they love to eat pesky bugs and control weeds. And since their feet are really flat, they do not scratch up dirt like the chickens can. So I thought, great, this is an awesome permaculture plan to have the ducks roam around the garden doing pest control and fertilizing. But we soon learned that the geese, they loved our garden. Particularly, they loved to eat our garden. So that didn't last very long. We took many impromptu trips to Tractor Supply to pick up fencing and T-posts to create a big pasture for the birds to roam around in. Because of this, we didn't get most of our seedlings in the ground when we wanted to, and a lot of them, they became stunted. But not the tomatoes. We still ended up with way too many tomatoes. We also learned that living pathways like the clover we grew is definitely not for us. Originally, I grew it because I thought that the ducks and geese would eat it while foraging around in the garden all day, but since we moved them to a pasture, the clover was really just one more thing for us to take care of, and holy moly, it grew so fast, and it really took out a lot of the fun of gardening because it was just one more thing to keep track of. So we have gone back and forth about starting a garden on our property this year or just redoing the garden from last year on my in-laws' land, but maybe with some fabric walkways. I don't know. As much as I would like to start a garden on our property this year, we would just, it would probably end up being more work for us because it's 45 minutes away from where we're currently living, and we just don't have a way to haul water yet, so it doesn't seem like it's in the cards for us this season. What I have found is that towards the end of the summer, the ducks and geese do come in handy with the garden cleanup. Within a few weeks of having them in our garden during the day, many of our plants were successfully mowed down. I also noticed that the birds didn't eat things like my flowers. And that has blossomed into the idea of starting a small flower farm that the ducks can keep pest free for us. And that just sounds so cool. We have really wanted to incorporate the ducks into some sort of regenerative agricultural farm plan of some sort. And we really thought that it was going to be our crops like tomatoes and veggies, all those things. But it turns out they are actually fantastic with the flowers. So we are running with this idea, and we are transitioning our garden from growing some flowers and mostly veggies to growing mostly flowers and some veggies. And we're going to see how it goes this year. We've already spoken to several florists in town and just asked them like, hey, what are some flowers that you feel like you're running out of every season, or what's something that you would like to see? And they all gave us some really great advice, and we've learned that this is a huge untapped market in the area. So we are really, really excited to get started on that this year, and we're actually going to be starting seeds this week for some flowers. So stay tuned for those videos. I think the videos this summer are going to be so beautiful now. But anyways, getting back to the story, by the time September rolled around, I was ready to put the garden to bed for fall and just like fall over and relax. I felt like after we sold our home in Illinois at the end of the previous September, we just hit the ground running. And when we got to Tennessee, because we were on this mad dash to get me back to sewing, get some ducks to have eggs in the late summer, build them a coop, get a greenhouse going so that we can get a garden going by April, we had so many time-restricted projects while simultaneously trying to adjust to RV living and RV chores, things breaking. Thankfully, Steve works remote, so he has more time to dedicate to projects because he wasn't commuting to work and has an hour-long break every day to resume projects. So that helped a lot, but nonetheless, we are so tired. Somehow, in the middle of all this planning and stress, we closed on the second property we fell in love with, and it really checked all of our boxes in terms of what we were looking for, maybe minus the price, but it's kind of off the beaten path. It has 360-degree mountain views. It's made up of slightly rolling hills, and the house site is on top of the largest hill, and you can see the entire property from that hill. I'm like getting goosebumps right now. It has a 4-bedroom septic in place already and a great gravel road started. And there are 2 super mini ponds on the land that we hope to make just a little bit bigger one day for the ducks and geese. It's about 16 acres and unrestricted, so we have a lot of freedom when it comes to what we want to build and how we build it. We can't see our neighbors from our property, but even if we did, that would be totally fine because they are really, really incredibly friendly people. So all in all, I feel like we deserve a little bit of rest after this tumultuous first year. I'm not even a little bit disappointed in myself for only preserving a couple of things from the garden this year. I mean, I have all my tomatoes frozen in the freezers right now, and once I get a little bit of rest, and which I don't know, because I'm starting some flower seeds this next week, so I might not get a whole lot of rest. But anyways, I'm hoping to get a little bit of rest so that I can make and can a bunch of tomato sauce and then have that for the whole year and not feel so bad that I'm not growing as many tomatoes this year. Definitely not 200. But what I have found to be true so far on this journey is that you can do whatever the heck you need to do as long as you keep that vision of the end goal in mind. Like, it'll get so stressful, and if you don't have that vision or your reason why you're doing that stressful thing, you will falter. I mean, you can falter. You don't for sure will falter. But Steve and I are waiting to have a baby until we build a small apartment on our property this time next year. And we're doing that because the RV is just not as stable as we originally thought. So we can't stay in the RV during this entire build process. It's just not possible mentally and physically. And the thought of finally being able to bring a baby home has awakened this motivation in me that I have never, ever known. So even though our stamina is not what we thought it was, like I said, we are so tired. We did what was needed of us to accomplish our goals this year. And is everything painted and pretty? No, but everything is functional. Animals are super happy and healthy, and my business is thriving, and we have a roof over our head and access to mostly clean water. We learned new skills and have a much deeper appreciation for basic comforts. So whatever challenges lie ahead of you in this season of life that you're in, keep your eyes on your goals and reserve some time for rest and reflection. And honestly, at the end of the day, wouldn't you rather be struggling, working towards something meaningful for you and your family instead of staying in the same place forever? The time we have is a gift, subhanAllah, and we might as well cherish that gift while we're here because we don't know how long until here becomes there. I feel like that's like kind of a dreary and sad way to end this video. But like, it's the truth, you know? We really should be taking each day and thinking of it as a gift. But anyways, that's how I'm going to end this video. That sounds a little bit more inspirational. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to my ramblings. And I hope the videos get better as the year goes on. We're doing a really much better job at taking videos and all that stuff. We've already started doing it, and it's so much fun. And this year was just maybe a little bit too hectic. But anyways, thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks. Bye.